Many people have integrated remote-controlled fans with arc fault circuit interrupters AFCIs or ground fault circuit interrupters GFCIs. These protective devices are engineered to prevent electrical fires by identifying and disrupting electrical faults. AFCIs are designed to detect arc faults, which are dangerous electrical anomalies that can arise from damaged electrical circuits. GFCIs are designed to detect ground faults, which occur when electrical current deviates from its intended path, potentially flowing through a person or water. Remote-controlled fans offer the convenience of operation from a distance, enabling you to power the fan on or off, modify the speed, and regulate oscillation settings. The compatibility between remote-controlled fans and AFCIs or GFCIs is generally favorable. However, it's vital to consult the manufacturer's guidelines to verify compatibility with the specific AFCI or GFCI you're employing. During the installation of a remote-controlled fan with an AFCI or GFCI, meticulous adherence to the manufacturer's instructions is essential. This ensures correct installation and protection against electrical faults. Firstly, safety is improved since AFCIs and GFCIs mitigate the risk of electrical fires, a significant hazard in residential and commercial environments. Secondly, remote-controlled fans offer enhanced convenience by allowing control from a distance, promoting comfort. Thirdly, certain remote-controlled fans incorporate energy-saving features, like adjustable fan speeds and timers, to conserve energy. In conclusion, remote-controlled fans are suitable for use with AFCIs or GFCIs. These safety devices provide protection against electrical fires while offering convenience and comfort. Always follow the manufacturer's guidelines during installation to ensure proper functionality and electrical safety. AFCIs, or arc fault circuit interrupters, are crucial components in modern electrical systems designed to prevent electrical fires caused by arc faults. An arc fault is an unintentional electrical discharge that occurs when electrical current jumps between two conductors. This can happen due to damaged wiring, loose connections, or insulation breakdown. These arcs generate intense heat, which can ignite nearby flammable materials, leading to a fire. AFCIs are specifically engineered to detect these dangerous arc faults and quickly shut off the circuit, preventing a fire from starting. Unlike standard circuit breakers that protect against overloads and short circuits, AFCIs are sensitive to the unique characteristics of arc faults. They analyze the electrical waveform to identify patterns indicative of arcing. When an arc fault is detected, the AFCI trips, interrupting the flow of electricity and mitigating the risk of fire. There are two main types of AFCIs: branch circuit AFCIs and outlet circuit AFCIs. Branch circuit AFCIs are installed in the electrical panel and protect the entire branch circuit, including all outlets and wiring connected to it. Outlet circuit AFCIs, on the other hand, are installed at specific outlets and protect only that outlet and any downstream wiring or devices connected to it. AFCIs are now required by electrical codes in many areas for new construction and renovations, particularly in bedrooms and other living areas where the risk of arc faults is higher. Proper installation of AFCIs is essential for them to function correctly. It's crucial to follow the manufacturer's instructions and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the AFCIs are installed properly and that the electrical system is functioning safely. Regular testing of AFCIs is also recommended to verify that they are working as intended. This can be done by pressing the test button on the AFCI, which should cause it to trip. If the AFCI doesn't trip when the test button is pressed, it may be faulty and should be replaced by a qualified electrician. Ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs, are another essential safety device used in electrical systems to protect against electrical shock. A ground fault occurs when electrical current flows through an unintended path to ground, such as through a person who is touching a live wire and a grounded object. This can happen if the insulation on a wire is damaged or if there is a fault in an electrical appliance. GFCIs are designed to detect these ground faults and quickly shut off the circuit, preventing serious injury or death. GFCIs work by monitoring the balance of electrical current flowing through the hot and neutral wires in a circuit. In a properly functioning circuit, the current flowing through the hot wire should be equal to the current flowing through the neutral wire. However, when a ground fault occurs, some of the current flows through an unintended path to ground, causing an imbalance between the hot and neutral wires. GFCIs are extremely sensitive to these imbalances and can detect even very small ground faults. When a ground fault is detected, the GFCI trips, interrupting the flow of electricity in as little as 1/40th of a second. This rapid response time is crucial for preventing electrical shock. GFCIs are commonly found in areas where there is a high risk of contact with water, such as bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms, and outdoor outlets. They are also required by electrical codes in these areas. There are two main types of GFCIs: receptacle GFCIs and circuit breaker GFCIs. Receptacle GFCIs are installed in place of standard electrical outlets and provide ground fault protection for that outlet and any downstream outlets connected to it. Circuit breaker GFCIs are installed in the electrical panel and protect the entire circuit. Like AFCIs, GFCIs should be tested regularly to ensure that they are working properly. This can be done by pressing the test button on the GFCI, which should cause it to trip. If the GFCI doesn't trip when the test button is pressed, it may be faulty and should be replaced by a qualified electrician. It's important to note that GFCIs do not protect against overload or short circuits. They are specifically designed to protect against ground faults. Therefore, it's still necessary to have standard circuit breakers or fuses in the electrical system to protect against these other types of electrical faults. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations, including the requirements for AFCIs and GFCIs. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in electrical safety and technology. It is important for electricians and homeowners to be familiar with the NEC requirements to ensure that electrical systems are installed and maintained safely. Article 210.12 of the NEC covers the requirements for AFCIs. This article specifies where AFCIs are required in dwelling units, including bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, family rooms, and other similar areas. The NEC also requires AFCIs to be installed in branch circuits that supply lighting outlets, receptacles, and other equipment. Article 210.8 of the NEC covers the requirements for GFCIs. This article specifies where GFCIs are required in dwelling units, including bathrooms, kitchens, laundry areas, and outdoor locations. The NEC also requires GFCIs to be installed in branch circuits that supply receptacles near water, such as those in bathrooms and kitchens. In addition to the specific requirements for AFCIs and GFCIs, the NEC also provides general guidelines for electrical safety, including proper wiring methods, grounding techniques, and overcurrent protection. It is essential to follow these guidelines to ensure that electrical systems are installed and maintained safely and to minimize the risk of electrical hazards. When working with electricity, it is always important to take precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses, and using insulated tools. It is also important to turn off the power to the circuit before working on it and to verify that the power is off using a voltage tester. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. The electricians have the training and experience to safely install and maintain electrical systems. They can also identify and correct any electrical hazards that may be present. Remote-controlled fans can offer a lot of convenience in controlling the airflow in your home, but it is important to understand some of the components within that control to ensure its compatibility with the AFCIs and GFCIs in your home. The remote control itself typically operates using radio frequency, RF, or infrared signals to communicate with the fan's receiver. The receiver is usually located within the fan's housing and is connected to the fan's motor and other control circuitry. When you press a button on the remote control, it sends a coded signal to the receiver, which then interprets the signal and performs the corresponding action, such as turning the fan on or off, changing the speed, or adjusting the oscillation. The fan's motor is responsible for actually spinning the fan blades. There are different types of motors used in remote-controlled fans, including alternating current AC motors and direct current DC motors. AC motors are typically less expensive but may be less energy efficient and offer fewer speed options. DC motors, on the other hand, are more energy efficient and can provide a wider range of speed settings. The fan's control circuitry is responsible for managing the various functions of the fan, such as speed control, oscillation, and timer settings. This circuitry typically includes a microcontroller, which is a small computer that controls the fan's operation based on the signals received from the remote control. Some remote-controlled fans also include additional features, such as sleep modes, breeze modes, and temperature sensors. These features are also controlled by the fan's control circuitry. When installing a remote-controlled fan, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. This includes properly wiring the fan to the electrical circuit and securely mounting the fan to the ceiling or wall. It's also important to ensure that the fan is compatible with the AFCIs and GFCIs in your home. If you are not comfortable installing the fan yourself, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. When choosing a remote-controlled fan, there are several factors to consider, including the fan's size, style, features, and energy efficiency. It's also important to choose a fan that is compatible with your home's electrical system and that meets your specific needs and preferences. By understanding how remote-controlled fans work and following proper installation and safety procedures, you can enjoy the convenience and comfort of these fans while minimizing the risk of electrical hazards. Now, delving deeper into the interplay between remote-controlled fans AFCIs and GFCIs requires a more granular understanding of potential electrical issues and how these safety devices respond. One potential issue is harmonic distortion. Many electronic devices, including some remote-controlled fans, can introduce harmonic distortion into the electrical system. Harmonics are additional frequencies that are multiples of the fundamental frequency of the alternating current, which is typically 60 Hz. These harmonics can cause a variety of problems, including overheating of electrical equipment, increased energy consumption, and interference with other electronic devices. AFCIs are designed to detect certain types of harmonic distortion that are indicative of arc faults. However, some types of harmonic distortion may not be detected by AFCIs, which could potentially lead to nuisance tripping or failure to detect a genuine arc fault. Another potential issue is electromagnetic interference, or EMI. Remote-controlled fans, like other electronic devices, can generate EMI, which is electromagnetic energy that can interfere with the operation of other electronic devices. EMI can also potentially interfere with the operation of AFCIs and GFCIs, causing them to malfunction or trip unnecessarily. To minimize the risk of EMI, it's important to choose remote control fans that are designed to comply with EMI standards. It's also important to properly ground the fan and to keep it away from other sensitive electronic devices. Nuisance tripping is a common problem with AFCIs and GFCIs. Nuisance tripping occurs when the device trips even though there is no actual electrical fault. This can be caused by a variety of factors, including harmonic distortion, EMI, and wiring problems. To minimize the risk of nuisance tripping, it's important to ensure that the electrical system is properly wired and that all devices are compatible with AFCIs and GFCIs. It's also important to choose high-quality AFCIs and GFCIs that are less susceptible to nuisance tripping. When troubleshooting nuisance tripping problems, it's helpful to use a process of elimination to identify the source of the problem. This may involve disconnecting devices one at a time to see if the tripping stops. It may also involve using a multimeter or other test equipment to check for wiring problems or harmonic distortion. If you are unable to resolve the nuisance tripping problem yourself, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving to improve electrical safety. It's important to stay up to date on the latest codes and standards to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant. The National Electrical Code, NEC, is the primary electrical code used in the United States. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in electrical safety and technology. UL, Underwriters Laboratories, is a non-profit organization that develops safety standards for electrical products. UL-listed products have been tested and certified to meet UL safety standards. The National Electrical Manufacturers Association (NEMA) is a trade association that represents manufacturers of electrical equipment. NEMA develops standards for electrical equipment and provides technical information to the electrical industry. Surge protection is another important aspect of electrical safety. Surges are sudden spikes in voltage that can damage electronic devices. Surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, and other electrical disturbances. Surge protectors are designed to protect electronic devices from surges by diverting the excess voltage to ground. There are different types of surge protectors, including whole-house surge protectors and point-of-view surge protectors. Whole-house surge protectors are installed at the electrical panel and protect the entire electrical system from surges. Point-of-view surge protectors are plugged into individual outlets and protect only the devices plugged into that outlet. Power conditioning is another technique used to improve the quality of electrical power. Power conditioners are designed to filter out noise and other disturbances from the electrical power supply. This can help to improve the performance and reliability of electronic devices. There are different types of power conditioners, including line conditioners, voltage regulators, and isolation transformers. Line conditioners filter out noise and other disturbances from the electrical power supply. Voltage regulators maintain a constant voltage level, even when the input voltage fluctuates. Isolation transformers isolate the electrical circuit from the power supply, which can help to reduce noise and improve safety. Electrical safety audits are a valuable tool for identifying potential electrical hazards in a home or business. A qualified electrician can perform an electrical safety audit to inspect the electrical system and identify any potential problems. This may include checking for wiring problems, overloaded circuits, and outdated electrical equipment. After the audit, the electrician can provide recommendations for improving electrical safety. Homeowners can also take steps to improve electrical safety themselves. This includes regularly inspecting electrical cords and outlets, replacing damaged cords, and avoiding overloading circuits. It also includes using surge protectors to protect electronic devices and installing AFCIs and GFCIs in areas where they are required. By taking these steps, homeowners can minimize the risk of electrical hazards and create a safer living environment.